welcome to our second podcast, the Spread the Love podcast. My name is Julieta Silva, and I am here with my other host,
Paris Mitchell, the president of Spread the Love.
We are leaders of a youth organization called Spread the Love, where we create encouraging letters, notes, and videos for children with special needs to read and enjoy. We'll be interviewing Karen, a parent who received some letters from our team. So first of all, Karen, can you please tell us what was your child's reaction to opening the letters and give us a bit of introduction about yourself, please?
Sure. So my name's Karen Pruitt. I'm parent of two children, actually 4 children. I have 2 stepchildren. And one of the youngest of which has Down syndrome. So Caleb is 13. And I think you guys reached out, it's been a couple months now, but asking if you could send some letters. And it was so wonderful to see them starting to come in. We got like 1 or 2 the first day, and then they just kept coming and coming and coming. And every day it was like a big surprise to see what was in the mail. So it was really thrilling for him. He got a big boost of encouragement and love, and all the letters were wonderfully written. So we really appreciate the time and energy that all the participants who sent letters and took to make them special.
I'm glad you liked them, ma'am. I'm really glad. Now, we already kind of had last week someone else also talk about their child who has Down syndrome. So how was the journey for you?
So we were older parents when we had Caleb. We did not know that he was going to have Down syndrome when he was born. So that was kind of a surprise. So it was not as negative as some other parents. A lot of parents who have kids with Down syndrome have a really negative diagnosis experience. Ours was not horrible. It wasn't perfect, but few are. So it was just very technical, I guess. Instead of, congratulations, you have this beautiful new baby. It was more of the focus on, he has Down syndrome. Here's all the things that could possibly be wrong. Here's some things that he probably will never do. And it seemed to me to be more negative than a typical baby being born. So if I could talk to the doctors today and share that message with them, and I think a lot of parents would say the same thing, please, don't focus on the negative so much. You have this beautiful new baby, let me have time to kind of digest the whole diagnosis before you start talking about all the negatives that, could possibly come with the diagnosis. So, but, after we got past that, we jumped into therapies right away when he was little. He started school when he was 1, just so he could have some peer time. He started in an inclusive preschool so he could get some, because his sister and brother were quite older than him when he was born. So there was no in the house. So we really wanted to give him that experience of being with other children. So that was really great. And then, he's just had a pretty much very smooth school experience so far, knock on wood. He's very active, as you know, loves to cook, loves to be in sports, and he's very healthy for having, he's got a cardiac issue, which was unnerving at first. But, we're doing great. I mean, the life is good for us.
I'm very glad, ma'am. We're very glad to hear that. And okay, so jumping back a bit to his life now, Caleb's life. So what can you tell us about him? Paris, Paris cooked up some questions about that because he's a very, very active guy. So that's very nice to hear. So Paris, take it away.
Okay, so hi, Mrs. Pruitt. My first question for you is to describe Caleb's diagnosis and his progress since his diagnosis. So as a child, have you seen any changes that occurred as he grew older?
Sure. So he was diagnosed at birth with trisomy 21, And I'm not sure if you know, but there are 3 different types of Down syndrome. So trisomy 21 is the most common. There's also mosaic Down syndrome, and there's also translocation Down syndrome, which are more rare. But he also was diagnosed that first week of his life with 2 heart conditions. So triple whammy right there, that first week of his life with all those diagnoses. And my husband and I think we're more afraid of the heart condition diagnosis than the Down syndrome. Because, that's super scary when they're telling you that they might be operating on your baby when, he's 5 days old. So that was a scary patch of time right there. We got through it, and Caleb never needed, knock on wood, again, to have surgery so far. He has one of his heart issues has closed on its own, so that's good news. And the other is still open, but it's being monitored every other year. We go to the cardiologist, and but he's active. He doesn't have any restrictions on activities, so that's wonderful. And as far as his Down syndrome diagnosis, it's a global, affects every part of his being, intellectually, physically. There's challenges with his movement. That's why he had to go to therapy when he was little, because it affects how they use their bodies. So he had to learn how to walk, how to crawl, how to do all those things in a correct pattern, so he doesn't hurt his muscles and his ligaments later on in life. Intellectually, we try and keep him challenged with school, of course, but also with other, games and things that we work on at home. So, and sports, I think being physically active, and this is just my opinion, I'm sure there's research on it though too, is that being physically active helps your mind as well. It helps you think clear. It helps you process information better. And so we made a very intentional decision when he was little that he would be an active person, and he is. He loves pretty much all sports. He doesn't like surfing, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because I wanted him to be my little surfer boy, but he hates it. So whatever. But any other sport pretty much he really likes. So
wow, I just hear that, just apparently he's more active than me.
Right. So Mrs. Pruitt, can you go ahead and describe Caleb's strengths?
Caleb's strengths would be definitely number 1, his outgoing nature. He's very friendly, loves people. We're getting his haircut this morning, and I think he said hello to every person in the haircut place. When COVID started, of course, we had to reteach him, I guess, not to touch people, because he's very, he's not a hugger so much, but he likes to handshake. He likes to touch babies. So we really had to work on that. So being outgoing and really being a friendly, engaging person, I think is one of his strengths. He's very athletic. So he's in good physical condition. So I think that will serve him well as he goes through puberty and goes on into adulthood. So yeah, those are 2 strengths that I can think of.
Okay. Also, Mrs. Pruitt, we know that there's like a huge correlation between friendliness and having Down syndrome. Did you ever feel like there was a time that you had to protect Caleb from the people in the world, considering the fact that not everyone understands the situation?
Definitely that. Not so much when he was little, but as he's gotten older, we've had to teach him that some people are not as friendly as you are. And some people are not going to react positively to you going up and, being in their face or touching them even, or touching their babies, especially as he grows into a man. I, as a parent, would be a little unnerved if some man came up and started touching my baby. So, working with him on those kinds of things, but also, like you said, protecting him from other people. Bullies is always a concern of ours as he gets older. But even when he was little, would people accept him? Would people understand him? Do they get what he's, if he wants to play, do they really understand how he wants to play with them? So working on communication is a huge issue, and it's something that he struggles with. It's something that we work on almost daily, his speech and, just his understanding of situations.
We got that. Wow. It just depends on who you're talking to. The world is just a very strange place filled with a lot of things. So sadly, we have to get prepared for that. And speaking of that, ma'am, what do you think that could be done to, like, in a daily interaction, maybe like me with Caleb, some other person, like, what do you think would be what are some activities that you think would make the interaction more smoothly in your opinion, or that wouldn't make your child feel left out or some sort of thing? So, well,
usually I try and gauge somebody's reaction before, I kind of look at the whole situation. Is this person, do they seem to be friendly? Do they seem to be like they would engage with him? And if they do, then I let him go and, say hello, or, however he wants to engage with that person. But if it's a situation where I feel like it would be a negative experience, then, I'll hold him back a little bit and say, look, let's say hello from over here, or let's just, keep about our business, the tasks that we're, if we're in the grocery store, for example, let's keep shopping, and we'll say hello to them at the checkout. Okay. So it's not so intimidating for both sides of the party. But I think a huge piece of just people in general being more accepting of people with disabilities is inclusion, especially when you're in school, when you're a little one and you have not had experience to others who are different from you, or different color, different religion, different ability level. Having those experiences to look back on, and I'm sure you two ladies can think of things in your past where, it's like, okay, I've interacted with somebody who's different from me. I know that they're going to, that it's going to be okay. Not everyone is the same. And so I think early exposure to inclusion is very important in that regard.
So true.
Yes, we totally agree with that. We totally do. Now, ma'am, so now let's jump back into his life. So based on his profile on Instagram, apparently he's with a modeling agency. He's with now you said that he's in a cooking show. He's also an ambassador of another Instagram account. So, ma'am, can you please tell us about what his daily activity consists of, and what are some things that he's currently involved in?
Oh gosh. So he, like I said, he's very busy. He keeps us on our toes, that's for sure. But he does have a couple of modeling agencies. We got involved with that. Oh gosh, about 4 years ago, he did some stock imagery photos. I don't know if you ladies know what stock photos are, but it's like photos that are very generic that companies can buy, and they use them in their marketing.
Really?
So yeah, there's no, like, you're not wearing anything that has any labels or tags. It's very generic. But then, like if Target wanted to use your photo or your video in their advertising, then they could purchase that. And so we got started with that. And that just led to, and then we saw some other role models, ladies and men actually with Down syndrome and other differences, who were modeling. And I think that industry, I just posted about this today, so it's kind of funny that you are bringing this up, but I think companies are realizing the need for more inclusion in their advertising. And so there's a bigger market, I think, for models who are different, whether it's different body size, different ethnic makeup, different, ability level. I think that is the way that things are trending right now. And then his cooking, oh gosh, so he loves to help in the kitchen. And so when COVID hit, and we were all quarantining or, just staying at home for the most part, I said, well, let's just try a Facebook cooking show once a week. We'll do a Facebook Live. It doesn't, it's not anything big, but it's just a lot of fun. So we've had a lot of fun with that. It's, we just did our 36th episode yesterday. And we do a Facebook Live, and then I posted on his YouTube. So we can save them all. But that's been a ton of fun, and it's really helped him out develop his culinary skills. And then what was the other? I'm sorry, I forgot the other thing. Oh, he's an ambassador. Yeah, he's an ambassador for Wouldn't Change a Thing. And that is across the globe. It's advocating for people who have Down syndrome. So they do awareness campaigns, they do videos and photo shoots and all kinds of fun awareness projects. They have one coming up for World Down Syndrome Day, which is March 21st. So be ready, look out for that.
Yeah.
Definitely will. And okay. Just how did everything get started with that? You said that you were the one that had the idea of the cooking show, but did Caleb anytime get like an idea like, Mom, I want to do this, or I want to try this?
Well, usually we'll, as far as the cooking show, we'll look at different recipes during the week and we'll kind of pick one out. And pretty much his whole sports career has been activities or sports that we've looked at together and said, okay, do you want to try this? As I mentioned, surfing was a big no. We did try it though. He did try it, and he decided, oh gosh, within that first probably half hour that he did not like surfing. He didn't do that anymore. But he's his own person, and so he's definitely got his own voice. And as he's getting older, his own opinions about activities that he's involved with or things that he likes to do. I mean, if it was up to him, he would probably play video games pretty much of the day. But, you can't do that and be a successful person. So we have to, move forward with some other things.
Okay. So Mrs. Pruitt would like to move on to the parenting and your parenting style. So we know that being a parent of a child that has a special need can become overwhelming sometimes, especially for new parents. Were there any changes that you had to make to your parenting style in order to suit Caleb and give him the best that you could?
That's a great question, and definitely very true. Parenting Caleb is much different than parenting our other children. Number one, because we're older. And I think he has the benefit of us raising kids before him. And so, we're not brand new parents. We're not, this whole parenting thing is new for us. Plus now add on a kid with special needs. It's, we base it a lot on how we parented our other children, but of course there's therapies thrown in there. There's processing issues thrown in there. There's safety issues thrown in there and health issues as well. So kind of juggling all those different hats and roles. It's not, my husband and I were just talking about this the other day. Day to day, it's very similar to parenting our other children, but there are days when, he has to leave school early because he has a doctor's appointment, or, he has therapy, or when he gets home from school today, we really need to work on some speech, or speech and language. So there are differences. And I think we're more intentional about things. Certainly planning for the future is a huge topic for us, especially now that he's going to be 14 here in a couple months. We're, as we talked about before, we're getting ready for him to be an adult. And so taking really a deep look at what can he do when he's, an adult? What could he do for work? Where could he possibly live? How would he get to his job? What does transportation look like? What does his financial situation look like? So all those different things if you have a child with special needs, you should be planning for those a little bit early on, if not a lot early on, than your other children, because they will most likely be dependent on you to help them navigate that whole situation.
Okay. And also, we know that there are both good days and bad days in all our lives. Do you ever think that there's a time where Caleb feels down or left out, or things don't go his way and he wishes the situation was different? As a parent, how do you try to encourage him to be proud of himself or who he is?
Well, Caleb's a pretty positive person. He has a lot of self-confidence, which I think helps him. But there are times and situations when, people don't want to play with him, or, people react in a negative situation at the grocery store or wherever we're, like I said before, when we're interacting with people and perhaps somebody doesn't want to say hello to him. Then I don't know if he really takes it personally, but sometimes, you can tell that he's a little sad about it. So, we'll just, hey, they just don't want to talk to you right now. Maybe they're having a bad day. So try and turn it around so it's not such a negative experience. And then, hey, what could we do differently next time to say hello? Could we have, waved from further back and not be right in their face? So, trying to turn the negatives into positives is something that we are always trying to do at home and just in our lives. I think it's better to be a positive person than focus on the negatives.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so we know that children, they do rude stuff sometimes and they learn from what they do. Is there a time where you have to punish him for something that he does? And in terms of punishing him, how would you do that in order to keep his situation cool with him?
So as he is becoming an adolescent, behavior has, there's times as you both know, when you go through puberty where hormones are, causing you to be upset about things that maybe, you blew out of proportion, or just situations in general that perhaps when you were a little one wouldn't have bothered you, but now they do. And so just, we do, he loses privileges is really how we address that whole, acting badly or just not minding, taking care of things improperly. It's like, okay, if you're not gonna do what you're supposed to do, then you'll lose dessert tonight, or you'll lose your video game, or whatever that incentive is that's, driving him. A lot of times it's just, we never really punish him with, not letting him do things unless it's something really big, because again, we want him to be out there in the community. We want him to be active and engaged. And I think that would be a negative repercussion overall. So it's really things that, like I said, dessert is big for him. He loves ice cream, so that's a huge one. And video games are big. We don't really send him to his room because he would just have fun in there anyway. So that wouldn't help.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess that could also be applied to almost any kind of parenting, just like why do like not like I don't remember what the term is, but like I think it's like negative consequences. I'm not so sure. Like like when they do something bad, why do something bad with like to like reinforce that negative reinforcement, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And well, now switching the gears, is there like any proud moment that like just has stuck in your head with Caleb that you're just like you look back on and just you're happy to think about?
Oh, a lot, so many. His modeling, very proud of him for everything that he's done with that. And we have some big things coming up. So make sure to keep watching our Instagram page because there's some exciting stuff happening. But I think being a runner, I've been a runner all my life since middle school. And over the summer, he started getting into running. We did the Couch to 5K program through Special Olympics. And I thought he was going to hate it. I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be like pulling teeth. We're just going to do it and say we've done it, and move on. But he really likes it. So he ran 4 miles with me the other day. And that to me, I almost started crying when he finished because I was so proud of him
that
he
cute.
stuck to it, that he didn't give up. And so now we're focusing on him doing some triathlons. So that's, very exciting stuff. But I think that would be my proudest. Now, Dad might say something else about maybe cooking because Dad's the cook at our house. So Dad might have a cooking moment. That's his favorite, but that's my favorite.
That's so cute. Ma'am, so we are running a bit out of time, so we should probably wrap it up here. First of all, thank you so much for your time and patience with us today and just sharing your story with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. Our page is a lot about sharing awareness and, just positivity about a Down syndrome diagnosis. So I just hope your audience realizes that, if they encounter somebody who has Down syndrome or some other difference, that they would realize that their life is really not that much different than your own. And, everyone has dreams and goals and, we're all just looking to live the best life that we can.
Yes, indeed.
Also, Mrs. Pruitt, I remember you said earlier that there's some times where you have concerns for Caleb's future. And I definitely think that you having him in so many activities are also good for him because, as an entrepreneur, he could do so many other things to inspire other children with special needs. So any other parents out there who may not know what route to take in terms of having a stable future for their child, do you have any recommendations that they could look into?
That's a great question. And I think one that I learned early on working at our local Down Syndrome Association and just working with parents who had kids who were older than Caleb. When he was little, I worked with parents who had kids of all ages. And so I learned from those who had young adults. I learned from those who had teenagers. And really the overriding message was start young, start when they're little, focusing on good behavior, focusing on skills, life skills, have them do chores. They're just as able as any of your other children to do chores. Caleb, washes the dishes, he sets the table, he helps me with the laundry, all the things that any other kid would do at home or should home. Start with answer with pre-employment skills, try and figure out what your child likes to do and really just have that be, or those things be, maybe a goal for the future. Not 100%, my kid likes to, build things and that's good. They're going to go into construction, they're not like that, but figure out some things, like if your child likes airplanes, you know, what, and they're really fascinated with airplanes, what could be in their future that would revolve around airplanes? Could they work at an airport? Could they, you know, be a steward or a stewardess? You know, what's some things that you could help them develop that would then lead to something that they're very interested in? Because from what I've found, parents of children with special needs, you know, they like to do what they like to do. It's very, you know, if you stick them in a job that they don't like, you know, they're not going to go, they're going to, you know, not attend. So you really need to focus on what they like to do.
So true.
Great answer, ma'am. Great answer. So please use your time to list all your social media so our followers can also check you out, and just follow Caleb's journey as well.
Oh, thank you. Well, Instagram is one. We're pretty much Caleb's Crew on all of our socials. So it's Caleb's Crew on Instagram. It's Caleb's Crew on YouTube and on TikTok and on Facebook. He has his own Facebook page, and that's where we do our cooking show. TikTok is fairly new. I'm still figuring it out. So I might ask you ladies for some advice on TikTok, but it's a lot of fun. He does a lot of dancing on TikTok. So, but yeah, but our YouTube is mostly cooking right now. So, but
yes, thank you so much for your time, ma'am, again, and we wish you a very, very good day. And of course, say hi to Caleb from us.
I will. Thank you so much for having us. And I look forward to seeing this podcast, but also seeing some others that you're doing, because I know you guys have some others lined up. So thanks for all you do to help spread love and to help spread positivity to our families, and just to share information with everyone else.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.